the aim of this really is to get a bit fit, keep my calluses going, but also I've put the kind of open back on the GoPro case, just hoping that picks up my voice a little bit better than a completely closed case. There's a guy asking about some over or under. I'm definitely, I don't know if you can see, some under, some under. Sometimes on a push I can open my hands. I don't usually paddle that high. I hope the camera's picking it up. But also on the blade that's in the water, I'm not always doing a straight stroke. Sometimes the boat's getting pushed, the stroke's a bit of a J. It might pull towards the boat a little bit or push away from it. The angle I'm using on the blade then needs adapted, which is why good grip on the blade, if your hand wrapped around it, is quite important really. Especially if, I mean, this is fairly gentle, but you know, if you're in a rougher complex sea and you got your thumb on the top, you're going to lose your paddle. There's no doubt about that. This is ideal weather for a quick training paddle. It's just a little bit of chop pushing against me, as is often the case. I was sitting at home, I got back home from doing the Sunday afternoon shopping and thought, oh, maybe not. Now I'm out here. Wow. The little shafts of light coming through there, they're going to change slowly. The clouds are thickening and building and spreading and moving around. The sea's being wonderful. I don't know, don't get much better really. Could have put a film on, could have sat in the settee and wasted a few hours. Out here there is a chance of dolphins and a load of fun. This time of night is, come sunset, the wind often dies. At the minute you get quite a nice downhill push off it. It'd be a great day for sailing. I'd love mast and sail on this. One day, I've been sailing one day since I bought the boat, which is, I don't know, maybe 9 years ago or so. Never mind. Had a few discussions about backrest, backband, whatever you want to call them, recently. Trying to remember what I do with mine. So it sits very low, it sits on the base of the seat, or the bottom of the backband does, and I can feel that bit right against my ass, I suppose. But where it was rise up to my back, I've got to lie right back to feel the top of the back band. So really it's kind of, it's not being used that much. I think I could probably almost fit a fist between the back band and the small of my back, because in an upright position you don't really need a back band. It's handy when you're a bit knackered, I suppose. You want to lean back and rest, but just wondering whether to put a bit of webbing in there instead of a padded back band. Decks, I mean, I'm using it, you know, to show us a Roanoke, palm Roanoke on there, stretched very tight. Like a lot of composites, the coaming on the edge of the coaming around the cockpit is quite thin on this, so giving us a snug fit, there's quite a lot of pressure around the rim onto the spray deck. So Roanoke, like some of the peak decks, has a lot of reinforcing. There's a big latex strip up the inside, and then you've got all that black webbing on the outside, so that's just going to make it last a lot longer than a soft softer deck. Compasses, that's another thing that people have been talking about recently. Where do you put your compass? My vision really comes into focus about where that deck bag is, just in the middle of it. So the compass on the front works ideally for me. If I'm putting any charts on, they sit just under the deck bag. I'd put the deck bag a little bit further forward and stick a laminated chart under there. Just pull it out a little bit and I'll be able to read it nicely without glasses. And the Roanoke's got crisscross bungees on it. I took them off because I mean, you can't put a chart under there when you can't see. Well, you can, but you can't read it if you haven't got good close-up vision. So I don't need those bungees. I think the answer to the compass thing is it's a matter of choice. It depends on your eyesight, depends on your own personal preferences as to where you want things. I like the compass forward because, you know, when I'm reading the bearing on there, or even just looking at it as a marker, I'm still able to see the sea that's right ahead. You have to look down on the deck, your eyes off the sea for a minute, and you know, in rougher water that can be a little bit of a nightmare. So I glance at that compass every few seconds, make sure I'm bang on bearing and I'm not losing sight of the sea. Those clouds over there, wispy long, stretched out, to me that's saying a couple 100 miles ahead there's wind on its way. Passing Ranny's Buoy marks the end of a reef that comes out from Lewis Island, St George's Island, whatever you want to call it. South Cardinal, two black triangles pointing down and the right black and yellow stripes. These are nicer ways for getting a ride on. Didn't think I was getting much in the way of rides. It's deceptive. And that, what, maybe 4 minutes, 3 minutes, Ranny's Buoy is way back up there. Okay, so I've turned around and gone with the wind, but looking back, there's no whitecaps. They started to die just as I turned round. I thought it might, often does. Not a whitecap to be seen. Right the way around. Oh well.